What's up, guys? Devin here with Nick, and welcome back to another Tribe 11 podcast.
On today's episode, we're going to be covering goal setting and consistency, since they go hand in hand, and it is a frequent topic that we do come across when it comes to the health and fitness.
When you're setting your goals, it's easy for other people to tell you, that your goals are too big or you're not going to achieve your goals, whether it's because of your lifestyle that is current or because of past decisions that you've made. But don't let anyone stop you from, wanting to achieve more, wanting to achieve better. If we listen to the people that we had originally told when we wanted to open our gym and our program, we can go this route a little bit before we go back into the fitness aspect, we wouldn't be here. When Nick and I both told, certain friends, certain family members that we were gonna, open our gym and do this, people are like, why are you guys gonna do that? You guys are gonna quit your guys' careers, you guys have good jobs. And then they're like, you guys are never gonna make it, or you guys can't do that. And look at us now. I mean, it's not like, we're at our end goal. Our goals, we have goals that we keep setting and keep trying to achieve. But at the end of the day, we didn't listen to people trying to be negative in that. And I thought about this before this episode to talk more about the fitness aspect. With Nick and I, how we met, I know we touched a little bit about it on the last episode with Nick wanting to do a show. If you guys would have seen the before picture of Nick when he actually originally approached me and he told me I want to do a bodybuilding competition. And I know you remember this because I told you straight to your face. I was like, look, man, I don't know if I can't give you 100% yes that I can get you exactly where you won't think you can get, because you're giving me 12 weeks to basically go from you like to have a good time and party to walking out onto a stage with other dudes that have been doing it for 6 months, 12 months, But I said, if you give me your 100%, I promise you I'll give you my 150 and I'll get you as close as we can. And then that's when, we touched on that last episode. You're like, oh, I'm going to give you 152, which he did, and it definitely surprised me. And I mean, that's why we're as good of friends as we are today. And that's why we match so well as, business partners and as friends. But it was one of those things where I could have easily told him, no, you can't do that, or and I'm sure he got that from some of his friends and stuff, or his outside influences, 100%. That you won't, you can't walk on stage in 12 weeks. And if you would have seen his 6-week transformation photo, it was crazy. People are asking me what steroids did you put him on and stuff like that, and I was like, dude, he's not on steroids. This kid is eating to the T what I tell him. I mean, he cries about it a little bit, but he eats exactly what he needs to. He works a full day. At the time you're working at Kaiser, you work a full day, you get to the gym, and I was training another client, or I would be training another client, I would see you trying to skimp out on your workout, I would walk over there and hand you the weights that you should be doing, and you didn't even cry about it, you didn't question it, you're like, all right, let's do it. And you handled it. That consistency and that motivation alone got him to be able to walk on stage and feel confident. But his goal was set. And having that goal set, he knew that, okay, this is my goal in 12 weeks, I need to take these certain steps and take these actions if I want to get there. And that's where the consistency came in, because he was there day in and day out. Whether he was exhausted from work or from just the workout in general, he finished each workout. So I want to give you kudos for that, because at the end of the day, I know we got closer from that, but I never really expressed that was a huge eye opener into who you are as a person, because a lot of people the things that we had to do and go through to try to get you as close as you could to stage ready. A lot of people would have given up after a few weeks, So and it's one of those things where if you have the right people in your corner that will give you the good job when you need it and not give you good jobs when you don't deserve it, then you can get wherever you need to. But you also have that mentality of whether your outside influences told you could do it or not, you're like, I'm doing it, because because your goals were bigger than your outside influences.
100%, I agree. And when it comes to, goal setting, I believe that you being able to help me create a structured plan and to follow 100% is what helped me stay consistent to it, to the plan, that I have to stick to this because that is what will get me towards the end goal. And like what's crazy is that, and this does relate into, everybody's fitness goals and health goals as well, because the thing is, even if they're not, this specific person is not getting ready for a show per se or a competition, they're going to set themselves a weight goal, a body fat percentage goal. And when you do get closer to it and when you're closer to attaining it, because you stuck to the plan, you stayed consistent to it, you surprise yourself to what you can accomplish. And then you think, wait a second, maybe I can set another goal after this and then another goal. Because that's the beautiful thing about life actually, when it comes to goal setting, is that you should never be satisfied. You know what I mean? And that is something that I kind of already have heard, but I didn't solidify my belief in it until you helped me get through that competition. Because when I did get to that competition, it's like, oh damn, like if I can get this, my body to transform in that way, and for me to push myself there, how far more can I push myself physically? And then that translated mentally, emotionally, which honestly I think has helped me overall as a person. And that's the crazy thing, is that it started with just health and or fitness per se, and it literally helped me in general. So
yeah, I mean, it's when you have a dream, whether it's in work or to excel your career, or you want that job or you want that certain body that you see others have. My thing is, and what I've told clients in the past, and as well as I tell myself, like, what separates you from them? Like, besides that they're where you want to be and you're not. Like, what do they have genetically that you don't? Nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, they still have the same 24 hours in the day as you do. They still have, the same resources online you do, because everything is online. You got to just put in the work and find it. But you got books now, you got magazines, you got social media. There's so many different things that are there to help you, whether it's in fitness, whether it's in learning more so that you can excel in your job or in your career, whether you want to get closer with your family. Like, whatever your goal is, there's so many resources out there besides just a professional that like you can use and utilize that people underutilize. And that's the thing, is like when you have a goal and you break it down, it's like, okay, here's your dream, break a dream down and set a date on it and put a date on it. Now it's a goal, right? So your dreams are just goals that without a date on it. Put a date on it, and now you have a goal. Okay, so how do you get your goal? Break it down into steps. When you break it down into steps, now it becomes a plan. Take action.
Yep.
Yep,
100%. I agree on that. Especially, it's also kind of in the same sense of how do you succeed, right? Or how do you work towards a bigger goal per se, which is what you just said. It's accumulating small wins. Day in, day out, working, setting, following the plan, following your blueprint for you to excel and move up that ladder to one level of your goal, moving on to the next set of your goal, But again, that is collectively accomplishing each win, because you also don't want to, and I think this is a good tip to start on when it comes to goal setting, is that yes, you should have an overall goal, and then that progresses, but your initial goal should not be, like, for example, in a day, shouldn't be too overwhelming that you're not gonna be able to accomplish it, because then you're gonna take that L, and then it'll discourage you and it'll derail you. So knowing yourself, set small goals, or small wins, and collect them to accumulate into that bigger, working towards that goal, that main goal.
I think one of the big things that has changed for us too that we've actually, I mean, we've always had daily tasks and daily things that we've done to try to progress us in both of, our gym and fitness. But utilizing, Andy Frisella, mentions that power list, and it's not a list that, okay, like I'm gonna take out the trash today, I'm gonna do this. It's a power list of your tasks for the day that are gonna progress you towards your goal. Whether it's in fitness, whether it's in your relationships, whatever it is, it's 5 tasks, no more than 7, that you need to do today. And it doesn't matter if you get them done in an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or it takes you the whole day. Mm-hmm. As long as you get those goals, those tasks done, you're one step closer to your goal, right? So if you're able to, the night before or even the day before, if you're able to set a list, okay, I need to achieve these things tomorrow. And it could be like, I need to look up, how to cook my own food, or I need to look up how to bake chicken. Like something as simple as that, okay, you didn't know how to cook chicken, now you need to look it up so that you're about to eat chicken for your meal plan that you found or that, someone made for you. Best believe you need to know how to cook it. Otherwise, you're going to be going to buy chicken, and the weird thing is if you go purchase those foods that someone else put the time in and effort in to make, it's not going to give you the same value back as in nutrients, right? Which is going to be a whole different podcast episode that we go on short in upcoming episodes on nutrition. But if you learn how to cook chicken, okay, now you're one step closer to eating cleaner, right? Because now you can do different chicken recipes and all that kind of stuff. Then your next task for the day is to make sure that you get a workout in, because that's not part of your daily habit, mm-hmm. right? So that you want the body that you want, or that your friend has, or that you see on Instagram. Okay, you need to hit a workout. That's task 2. What's task 3? Let's say drink a gallon of water, right? It doesn't have to be complex things, but they need to be things that are in line with your goal, right? Because at the end of the day, it's only going to help you if you're actually achieving these things. And if you start to, like you said, achieving W's for the day instead of the L's for the day, you get those 5 tasks done, you got a W for the day, right? So all of a sudden you can print out a calendar if you want and look at your calendar and all these little W's. It starts to create momentum within itself. Yeah. And you may not realize it, but all of a sudden everything starts to shift around you in life. Everything just starts to almost go into like a flow state. Like you feel like you look better. You feel like you speak better. Your
confidence is going
up. In every aspect. It's crazy. But that goes in work too, in your job or in your relationships. If you don't spend as much time with your kids, one of your tasks could be, to take them out to the park or go outside, or, even just spend quality time with them. That means like no phone, whatever. But whatever your tasks are, make sure it's in line with your goal. Right?
With you just doing that as repeatedly building a habit per se, you would be surprised that you have no choice but to stay consistent. You know what I mean? And with the consistency, you'll find that it's not so much of the word easier, it just becomes more natural to want to do more progressive things that'll excel you, and as a whole, excel you towards your goals, wanting to make and plan for bigger goals, you know what I mean? And that just pushes you forward. I think that's
100%. It's almost like athletes that you see in like games, when you don't see them put in the work behind scenes, but all of a sudden they come out in the game and everything's just flawless. Like it just seems like, everything they do is the right move. But that's because of the work and effort that's been put in, that they have created those W's on their off days that led into that flow state. But going into that consistency, like you're saying, a quote that I saw, and I might butcher it a little bit, but how do you move a mountain? Like what is the way you move a mountain? Mm-hmm. Rock by rock, right? There's nothing crazy to it. Like there's no crazy science. Rock by rock. If you want to move that mountain, you're gonna be consistently moving it, stone by stone, rock by rock, boulder by boulder. And when I say like stones, boulders, all those things, those are different obstacles that you're gonna be crossing in life. Some things will be smaller than others. Some things might seem like a stone today, and then all of a sudden you'll hit a boulder tomorrow. Realize that in life, this too shall pass. Whether you're on a roll, just realize this too shall pass. Mm-hmm. If you're on a down streak and you've messed up, you had a cheat meal, and all of a sudden you're starting to be hard on yourself and everything seems like it's going wrong, just realize this too shall pass. So even if you fall out of your flow state or your consistency, just hop back on. You don't need to wait until the next Monday. You don't need to wait till the next month or the next year. Like, hop back on today. Yep. Hop back on right now. You had a cheat meal for breakfast and you knew you messed up. Like, okay, you still got lunch. Yep. You still got dinner. You still got your snacks that you could be eating bonbons and shit. Like, come on, like, hop back on.
That's the crazy thing that I feel like we run into, and I'm sure a lot of people as well in this line. But if people feel like, most people at least feel like, if they had, they fell off the diet real quick on a meal, not even on a day, or even weren't able to get that workout in, it kind of, it demoralizes them in a way where it's like an excuse to, like, oh, let me just forget the whole thing. But it's like, we forget that, first of all, nobody's perfect. Nothing will go perfect. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're doing the right thing and working towards something, you will get hit with so many curveballs and so many obstacles that you do have to overcome. You know what I mean? For you to get there, that it is hard work for an individual to remember your purpose and the discipline to stay on task. It is okay if you mess up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is okay for you to mess up, or if you missed a workout for one day, if you had a bad meal, but you hop right back on, because that is the whole thing about being consistent. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you hop right back on and you get your routine back.
And that's the thing, is like, even if you do, fall off, or when you hit those obstacles, like, yeah, we're not perfect, and you're gonna face obstacles in all areas of your life, but that's what forms the person you are, mm-hmm. right? Those obstacles make it that much more rewarding to get to that goal. That might not be your end goal, but if you set little mini goals along the way to get to that end goal, each time you get to that little mini goal, like, it's a feeling of pride. You want to give yourself a pat on the back. Do it. Like, you don't need to sit there and stay there for a while. Like, give yourself a pat on the back and get back in the game, because realize that you're not done yet. Mm-hmm. And that's what people don't realize is, like, I think too many people need to give themselves, or want to give themselves, like, such a big reward for such small wins, and for every win. Mm-hmm. When in reality, like, that's just the work you need to be doing. Mm-hmm. Like, I've had clients over the years ask me why, like, I don't give them a good job every single workout, or every time they eat their meals that they should have ate, or they lost the weight that they should have lost. It's like, so you need me to give you a high five and a pat on the back and hold your hand for everything you should be doing?
Right.
Like, this is what you pay for.
Right.
Like, I don't fully understand why you need me to tell you good job when you should have done that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you good job and give you that praise when you've gone above and beyond.
Right.
Or you've been on a roll, and then I'm like, yo, you're on a roll, good job, like, keep it up, like, good shit. Like, but for you just to do what you need to do on a daily basis, like, I don't need to give you praise on it. That's what you should be doing. There's no participation trophies to get to your goal. Get to your goal or don't.
Yep.
I think the hardest part is with being consistent, at least in fitness, is that it can take weeks, months to see results. In relationships and business and all those things, like, you can see certain things, not all things, but certain things somewhat instantaneously, and other things obviously might take a few days or weeks. But with fitness, there is no lies. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't put in the work, come a month, come 2 months, your body will not lie. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest thing people don't realize, is they're like, man, I've been eating everything and doing my workouts. I haven't had a single cheat meal. I haven't drank any alcohol. And I'm like, then how did your weight go up? Like, unless you have some crazy genetic condition, that should physically not happen.
Right.
But the hardest thing with that is staying consistent, because when you, let's say you set your goals, you're doing your tasks, you wake up the next day, you look yourself in the mirror, you're not going to see a change.
Right.
So you do it all over again. Next day, day 2, you look at yourself in the mirror after everything, still no change. You're like, all right, man, this is tough. Day 3, you look at yourself in the mirror, again, no change. But realize that it's not going to happen after 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. You didn't get to where you are currently after 3 days. But if you're able to stay with it and stay consistent with it and stay on your meal plan to the best of your capabilities, there's going to be hiccups, but get back on to, stay consistent with your workouts. Again, I'm not saying go in every single day, 7 days a week, but you should be going at least 4 days a week, and if that's what's going pertaining to your goal. But if you're staying consistent, there's no way you shouldn't see results come a month, come 2 months, come 6 months and a year. Like, just imagine the kind of person, one, mentally, physically, and emotionally you're gonna be. It'll blow your mind what can happen if you stay on the path that you need to be to see the results that you want to see. It's the most rewarding feeling to look at yourself in the mirror and be like, man, I put the work in every single day. There's no one that can turn me down and deny my work.
Yeah.
Because it's proof. Results are proof. You can talk all you want. You can tell me that you're going to eat clean tomorrow, that you're going to start your meal plan next week, that you're going to start your workouts next week, or that you need to start walking before you can do this and that. But I don't need to hear it. Just show me.
Right. And, that is a major key. And it can even be when we talk about small goals, and I'm sure you and I run into this a lot, that having a conversation of small wins, like, I'm going to start this tomorrow. I'm going to start eating clean. I'm going to start getting on my food, my nutrition, and I can't count how many times I've started with, let's set a small task real quick. Let's hit your protein grammage for the day. Let's aim to hit your correct protein grammage for at least 2 to 3 days. Come back to me and show it to me on your that you tracked it. And from there, once we can hit that, we'll set another goal, small goal.
And then they just forget, people forget that they're supposed to track food, or even that certain people commit to I'm gonna start coming in 3 times a week. Solid, I'll see you tomorrow. 100%, I'll see you tomorrow. Crickets.
Right. And it's not even a slander. It's not at all. We're here to back everybody, all our members, everybody that comes to us for help. We're here for you guys. It's the point that we are trying to make that is legitimately what we were trying to show you, is that small goal for us to achieve within that 2 to 3 days, that is a small step towards the main goal. We want to cut, we want to tone, you know what I mean? It's like, let's do this first. Let's accumulate this win, which when we can get that into a routine, get that into a habit, we can move on to the next step, the next step, the next step. And before you know it, your next reading comes along, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks comes in, bam, oh my God, the progress is there. It's not magic. It's just work.
Honestly, I would say that most of our clients now, honestly are pretty consistent, in the sense of if they tell us that they're going to do something, that it usually does happen for the most part. Honestly, I'm impressed with a lot of our members, just because I have been in the industry a while, and I know you have too, and been to different gyms and stuff and dealt with a plethora of people. I don't know if it's from the energy that we have in here or what, but I want to say kudos to the members that are putting in the work, that are staying consistent, whether it's your workouts or whether with your nutritional guide and all that kind of stuff. It's not an easy feat, and believe me, just because you don't get a good job every single time, don't think that we don't realize it, and that goes for anybody. Even if you're not a member and you don't go to our gym, that realize that if you're putting in the work and you're being consistent, I guarantee that there are people out there that realize like the work that you are putting in. They may be too shy to tell you, or maybe they see you from a distance, but I guarantee they're either telling someone near them or in their own head they're thinking like, man, that girl or that guy it has changed so much, or they've come so far, or man, like they're motivating me. And a lot of people won't say it, but you know, that consistency and that effort and you trying to achieve your goals and achieving many goals along the way can be that motivation for someone else that you don't even know it.
I like that. I like that a lot. It does feel good to know as well. It's not that we're looking for it, but it does feel good to know that it actually helps to motivate our own members and even other people to keep going. You know what I mean? To add an extra workout, to add a little bit more effort, working towards what they want, because they see us putting in work too.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are one of the kind of people that, you know, again, this goes to anybody and everybody. Like, if you see someone putting in the work, like, you don't need to tell them every single time because that can get annoying. But if you see someone really putting in the work and they're with their head down, their sweatshirt hood up, and they're putting in the work without needing their praise from anybody, like, make sure you give them that good job, you know, because they may not get it from anybody else. Your good job and man, I notice your effort, I notice your change, like, that might be that little extra push that they need to excel past whatever obstacle that they're going through. You know, even if they do have a trainer, like let's say if they have a personal trainer or you have a trainer, it doesn't matter. On the outside, once they're done with their session, stuff like that, like, give them a good job. I guarantee you that will mean more from them, more from you to them than the good job that they get from their trainer, because they feel like the trainer that's what they're supposed to say.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So realize that you can build your own little community and build your own little network within the fitness community, because your guys' energies and your guys' efforts and your guys' wins all accumulate off of each other, and that motivation should drive other people's motivation, which in turn drives your motivation. Right? Take that one in. Like, your motivation drives someone else's motivation. Seeing their motivation should in turn redrive your motivation. So, I mean, I know we kind of went into some tangents, but I mean, that's what you're going to end up getting with Nick and I, because our brains do kind of just start to go every which way with certain topics, because honestly, this is one of our hugest passions. But for the most part, you know, we did try to touch base on goal setting in the beginning and then following it up with consistency. And we will go into other episodes and stuff with other people, influencers, and, you know, interviewing people. And we will touch back on this topic and see what other people do to you know, set goals as well as stay consistent. But
yeah, you guys make sure to stay tuned. And again, if you guys have any suggestions on any topics you want us to cover, or any specific questions you guys want us to cover, don't forget to leave it in our DMs or send us a message.
And thanks for listening, guys.